Year after year, with very little debate, we pour hundreds of billions of dollars into the military-industrial complex. This year, it's about $900 billion. While defense contractors make huge profits, while the Pentagon remains unaudited, with massive waste and fraud, we now spend more than the next 10 nations combined. Enough is enough. It's time to change our national priorities, and cutting military spending by 10% is a good way to begin.
Bernie Sanders took to the Senate floor to denounce the annual military defense bill, which throws billions of dollars into the pockets of defense contractors. He called on his colleagues to cut 10% of the funds going towards this almost $900 billion piece of legislation.
The senator from Vermont.
Thank you. Mr. President, our health care system is broken. 85 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured, and we don't even have enough doctors, nurses, or mental health providers. Unbelievably, our life expectancy is actually declining. Our child care system is dysfunctional. Millions of parents unable to find affordable sites for their kids. We have a major housing crisis. 600,000 Americans are homeless, and oh yes, the planet is on fire, and the world we are leaving future generations will be increasingly unhealthy. But somehow, we never have enough money to address those crises. Mr. President, if we have learned anything about the COVID pandemic, where we have lost over 1 million Americans, and climate change, which is causing massive destruction throughout the world, it is that national security is not just about nuclear weapons, submarines, and fighter planes. It's about making sure that all Americans have decent health care, education, housing, and other necessities of life. It's time to change our national priorities, and cutting military spending by 10% is a good way to begin. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Senator from Rhode Island.
I rise in opposition to the amendment.
Democratic Senator Jack Reed responded to Sanders' pleas to cut spending. But before you listen, here's a brief factoid that might be relevant about Senator Reed. He's received over $800,000 in contributions from the defense sector over the past 6 years.
An across-the-board cut of 10% makes no distinction between those programs that are actually vital and necessary for the defense of the country and those programs that may be subject to reduction based on an evaluation of the program. The Senator's amendment excludes the Defense Health Program, military personnel accounts, and assistance to Ukraine, but that means the actual cuts on every other function will be much greater than 10%. The other point I think should be made, he's made a very rousing description, an accurate description of some of the issues facing us domestically, but we are now involved in a existential conflict helping the Ukrainians to defend democracy. That costs money. We're in a situation where China has increased their military dramatically, and we must be prepared to react to such a change. This world is more dangerous perhaps today than at any time, and to simply walk away from adequately funding our Defense Department would be, I think, an error.